US. Record-breaking amounts of precipitation across northeast Wisconsin have not only affected areas inland, but also along the shoreline. Meteorologist Gina Recchia has more.
After seeing near record low levels several years ago, Lake Michigan is near an all-time high. That is causing issues along the lakeshore.
There are three things that affect the lake levels: precipitation, runoff, and evaporation. During spring, the Great Lakes usually rise due to runoff from snowmelt. In the summer season, it is rainfall that adds water to the lake. Lake levels drop during the winter season as evaporation takes place. Cold air rushing over a relatively warm lake will cause moisture to rise into the atmosphere, sometimes forming lake effect snow. One big player that can throw off this balance is ice. It acts like a lid, preventing water from the lake to escape into the air. After seeing lake levels in the beginning of 2013 not seen since the mid-1960s, ice coverage has been significant. Lake Michigan observed more than 50% ice coverage in the last 4 out of 6 years. On average, our Great Lakes sees about 40% ice coverage during the winter. How about precipitation? Back-to-back record-breaking years in Green Bay certainly have an impact. Going back to 2013 until now, states across the Midwest, including Wisconsin, have seen between 20 to 50 inches of additional moisture. That is like having another year's worth of rain and melted down snow. This clearly added to the water levels. It is normal to see rising and lowering lake levels, typically seen on a decadal period. This time, however, is slightly more unusual.
We are in a different situation now than in the past because we were at near record lows and now we're at near record highs. And we are expecting into next year water levels continue to increase. So that's a little bit unusual. Normally the rate of change between low to high is not so short, not so extreme.
The Army Corps of Engineers generates outlooks for the Great Lakes. Weather plays an important role into these projections. The National Weather Service outlook for the winter season shows the Midwest having an equal likelihood of colder or warmer than normal temperatures and a higher than normal chance of having above average precipitation.
If we have a pretty cold start and if we start icing over the Great Lakes sooner than normal, what that'll do is it'll stop the evaporative process. So the amount of water that's going to be taken out during the normal winter and fall season is going to be lower than it normally is. And what that'll do is when we start out in the spring, we'll already have levels that are pretty high. And in fact, the forecast from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has us near or at record levels in the spring.
The high water levels coupled with strong onshore winds have caused damage and erosion along the lakeshore. Beaches act like a buffer, slowing down the waves, but when water goes over the beach, its force can impact the bluff and remove sediment. Some of the worst affected areas in the Badger State are in Kenosha County, where this home had to be taken down as it was teetering with falling into the lake.
The fall and early winter are really key times for erosion to happen. As you can see behind us, we have lots of wave actions. Storms that happen in the fall and increased wind can act to increase erosion that maybe folks have been seeing over the summer. We expect it to increase around this time of year.
Businesses along the shore have witnessed Lake Michigan's impact. In Kewanee, LaFawn's Fish Market had a 3-year-old dock ripped apart by an early fall storm. Water was crashing up along the back of their building, something not seen since the early 80s.
Well, it's the same for everybody that's near the waterfront. It's destroying everything we've built. It's destroying homes, buildings, anything on the waterfront. And the shoreline itself, the erosion, if it's not protected, it'll never be the same.
In order to get the lake levels back to normal, we need a lot of help from Mother Nature.
The kind of conditions we want are a fairly warm winter with lots of lake effect snow that's able to drain the water from the lakes and dump it. And then when you get into the spring and summer, to not have that high snowpack to go back into the Great Lakes. And then in the summer to have less of these really high precipitation events where we get inches of water in just one overnight period.
Eventually the water levels will drop, but according to the latest forecast, we may have to wait a bit. Reporting along the lakeshore in Two Rivers, meteorologist Gina Recchia, NBC 26.